and welcome to How to Start a Board Game Company with Off the Page Games. I'm Jay Cormier. This week I'm starting to look at manufacturers and actually starting to get quotes from manufacturing. So let's talk about the process that I go through to, have gone through to choose a manufacturer. Now, first of all, while this is my first game, I have been dealing with Gameland for my Fail Faster playtesting journal, and they've been fantastic. So I'm definitely going to be including them in the loop. But what I wanted to do is I've got some of these packages that these manufacturers have sent to me that kind of demonstrate some of the qualities of their components and what they can do. And I wanted to show a couple of them off and go through them, as well as other things they can do online. So let's start with Gameland. They send this little package here. Always Smile. It's a pretty cute little box. And so obviously they're showing off their box, the fact that they can do that kind of nice glittery look there. And then when you open it up, it's got a whole bunch of components inside of it. And what I like what they did is that they actually made a game out of using their components to demonstrate their components. So what's kind of cool about it, I guess in the game there are these tracks or something, player boards. I haven't read the rules of the game, but this is an example of a glossy, thin board that you could use for your player board. And so they give you that example. But if you want to go one step higher, then you would go to this, where it's same quality, but now they can show you that they can cut out, and so you could have insert, and that makes it maybe a little easier to slide things along. That's kind of neat. One step higher, you can make it out of a board. So now it's a thicker kind of a punch board type style, but still got the punch out. And then one step higher than that, they show you that they can do two boards. So they actually glue two boards together, so you can actually have something in the bottom there, so that that's the highest quality from that they offer, which is pretty cool. They give you some other punch tokens examples here, which I haven't punched out yet, but you can see that they can even do holes within the punch, which is fine. And it kind of gives you, it's great too, because it shows you example of the bleed, the amount of bleed limit that you should have when you're dealing with the cutting and everything. So that's pretty cool. This is probably for the game as a start player marker, but it also shows you that, kind of gives you as a designer, manufacturer, some ideas on creativity, and like, oh yeah, you can have the players construct things and put things together. That's kind of neat. So I like that. Then let's see if I can hold this up. So then this is the inside. So they show, there goes that. They show you that they can do these vacuum form kind of inserts. I'm dropping stuff. Let me get it. And again, this is all for the game. This would be a cool game design challenge, like design a game that incorporates every different aspect of component we can make to demonstrate it. So here they're showing off little windmill tokens that they can do. That's pretty cool, out of this resin material. So that's pretty cool. Here are some wooden tokens showing that they can do all these different shapes, and that they can silk screen print directly onto them on both sides. That's pretty cool. Obviously just a bunch of cubes, show that they can do wood cubes. That's fine, it's probably for their game. There's these cute little people that have little heads on them. That's pretty neat. Like, of course people have heads on them, but I mean they're bulbous heads. There's not a meeple type thing, like they actually come out. All sorts of different dice, showing you that they can do different sided dice. They can do things with different printing on them, and then they can even do stuff that has art on the various sides. So you can actually custom make your own dice. That's cool. Of course, they can do meeples, and then they have, in fact, they show a metal coin in here, so that's cool. That shows that they can do metal. That's pretty cool. And then even within this, see if I can do this, shows you they can do insert with this vacuum form. They can do other things to show that these can lay within it, and everything can be kind of packed nice, and they can do these kind of poker chip style playing. So that's cool. It's a really cool way to demonstrate all the things they can do. What are these things? Oh, these are like metal. They can do, they give you these little metal, I don't know what they are, little boats or something for the game. And then also this little 3D figurine, so it shows that they can do 3D sculpts. That's pretty cool, actually. That's pretty cool. Detail. And then even under here, they have a little fold-out board to show you how they make their board, so you can actually kind of investigate. Like, you can see the kind of, the overlip hang that it has, the fact that it's black on one side. What side do they cut on? Sometimes they cut on the art side, and then sometimes they cut on the back side. So you can see this way the art is showing, but you could have it cut maybe in a way where it folds inwards so it doesn't show the art showing. But anyways, that shows a nice little example of a board that they can do, so that's kind of cool. Just a really cool example of on a little plastic standee token thing. I'm having a tough time remembering that my camera's here. Apparently I keep wanting to go this way because it's opposite on the camera. So that is Gameland. Now let's take a look at Panda. And then the last thing that Gameland provides is this box of cards. Okay, so this is a samples of all the types of cards they can do. So it's a pretty cool idea. So if it shows you their tuck box for cards, so that's kind of cool. It shows you how they look and how that works and everything. Cool. And then it shows you a list of what's in there. And then it has different types of cards and different sizes of cards. So it shows you these cards, and it tells you on the bottom that these are 350 GSM art paper. So now when you're dealing with them, you can say, oh yeah, I like the feel of the 350 GSM. That's what I want. Or you could say, here is the 300 GSM core paper, blue core paper. And so you could talk about that. So now you have a common language when you're dealing with manufacture about the types. And it even has, oh, that's 280. So it's not even 300, 280. So it shows you different quality if that's what you want to go with. Obviously, that'd be cheaper. And then it has a bunch of the other cards in here. And these are just actually for the game. It's not really demonstrating anything except for maybe how you can shuffle them and how they feel as a deck of cards. But it's for the game that they created, which is pretty wild. Then they give you a actual playing card that feels like a playing card and has that kind of linen finish. And then a card, what it would look like from an actual game. So it shows you, I don't even know what game it's from, but it shows you full bleed and how that all looks. So it's a really cool pack that demonstrates all the things that they can do. I like it. I like how they did that. So that's pretty straightforward. They also provide a little booklet here, and I'm just going to take you through that online. When you go to Gameland Online, you go to the resource page. You have a design instruction, and then you have all these different templates. If you want a book box template, go here. Or if you want a magnetic box template, or a top and bottom box template, or all these kind of templates, which is cool. So that's a great resource for going to GamelandCN.com. Or if you go to design instruction, then you go to their booklet. And here's all the stuff that we'll probably get into more detail later down the road once we're more concerned with everything, like make sure pure black is used, apply to all black elements, etc., etc. But this is also just a great resource to show you what's possible, the different types of boxes. And you saw that they had the templates for each of these out there, giving you ideas about kind of margin and die cuts already. So that's, again, later, even like all the legal icons and information that you need on your box, boom, you can go get all these icons right from Gameland. That's pretty cool. Tuck boxes, game boards showing you they can fold it in many different iterations and where the groove, without the groove. And the bleeds it needs. So it really walks you through the whole process, and then all the different card sizes that you need, that you could use, and all the bleed and border areas you need. So this is really handy. Again, we'll come back to this later for the booklets, the different types of binding they have when we're at this stage, because we're only at the stage of asking for quotes, and then they show off all the different types of things they can do, which is great. Because I am a little bit in this phase of like trying to understand what's possible, because sometimes you want to come up with some new funky kind of components. So I have a few questions I'm going to have for my manufacturers. What can we do that makes this look kind of cool and stand out? And I have some ideas, but obviously I don't know what's possible. So we're going to try to partner with them and see what they can come up with. But this is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool, showing difference between a paper tray and a plastic tray that they can do. That's really cool. And how they silk screen, so neat. I love seeing all this kind of stuff. Plastic tray technology. Wow. Design placement scheme. I haven't seen this yet. Handmade sample or a mold manufactured. Interesting. Brass mold, aluminum mold. Wow. And there's some advantages and disadvantages. Paper tray has a low development cost, can be printed in color, but the storage function is limited. The color of the blister pack is solid. It needs to open the mold, but the storage function is excellent, of course. And then they show off a bunch of the games that they've printed at their thing. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Great. Good stuff. All right, now let's take a look at Panda. Now with Panda, they have two different options. They have this smaller version of a pack as well as this larger version. So let's take a look at these really quickly. The smaller version of these, a designer's toolkit. So this is, I don't think necessarily their sample, but it's meant for designers to use, and this is stuff, things like this we use for like game design jams. When we go to a convention, we're running a game design jam where you have to design a game within an hour or 2 hours or something. We might use something like this, but it still does some similar things where it shows off there's types of cards they have and the quality of cards that they have and their thicknesses and whatnot, and how they even shows off that they can seal them in this kind of type of seal, which is great. They've got some plastic tokens here, which is great. Look at this, even comes with a nice little playtesting journal. It's a little bit smaller than the Fail Faster playtesting journal, but cute idea. Shows that they can do some gems, some resources or whatnot, other cards and different card sizes, different card qualities, and then a nice little bag. So you can kind of design a little game using these components. That's the kind of basic one. Doesn't do as great a job for for like a publisher to go review their components, but it's great for a designer. This is the one that is for publishers, and it's a really cool, weird, shows off that they can do these like magnetic box things that close like this, and it opens like this. How cool is that? That's so cool. Okay, let's take a look. So here they show off they can do bags with printed and like not printed, but that's actually like embroidered on there, so that's pretty cool. It's a cinch, so that's cool. That shows again how they do tuck boxes, which is cool. These ones are showing off that they can do sleeves. So that's all that's in this one. That's cool. And I think that's all that's in the black case as well. The black case has, but it's just showing off different types of sleeves that they can do different printing on sleeves. And there's this little box here, and this shows off, of course, a panda, that they can do little cool plastic components like pandas, and then a few other wooden components, including meeples. I like that that's the back of a panda and then the front of the panda. That's pretty cool. And just other types of wooden tokens that they can do. Cool. And then it has these last two things here are like drawers. So you slide these out. It has other things in here. It shows that these are some plastic holders to hold other types of tokens, but has a hole in it. It's a cool idea. And little plastic cubes, which is cool. And then the last one has got a whole bunch of stuff here. It's got these smaller but poker chip-esque chips. Shows that they can do all the different types of dice, and even if you want to do big chunky dice, it shows you can do with custom printing on it. And I think the last thing, that's the last thing, is they show that they can do timers. So it's a cool, very inventive box. Very inventive box. So that is that. But now what I want to do, put this aside, is they also come with, they have very famous design guidebook. And again, we'll be getting into more of this, but I'm going to actually take you through a little bit of it that's pertinent now online. Let's check it out. When you go to the website, they have all these tools like template generators. So this is a great place to get all of your templates. So you can go here, and I showed this off in a previous thing where we were trying to figure out the size of our board. But if you want cards or boxes or boards or anything, you go here and you, for example, if it was your board, what you like the width, what kind of fold you want, and it'll give you a layout that you can then use. So that's pretty handy. Then it has the design guidebook, which is this. Let's go to the top here. The same book I was just showing you here. Again, we'll be getting more into this later, but it's pretty cool. That goes really into details and shows all the different ways that they can help you make your game easier. Just lots of tips. Like, this is a goldmine of information that if you're a early and first time publisher, you're going to want to just, soak all this in. How to make a 2-piece game box, and tips and different types of bleed you have to watch out for in the die line. File has to be a different file. Tuck boxes, all this kind of stuff. UPC must be printed in pure black. Like, key things that you might not have known, and all the different safety markings as well. It's fantastic. How to make mats and screens with bleeds and margins. Great. That's important. Anyways, really great stuff. And then the last thing is showing off their components guidebook, So this one here is pretty cool because it shows all the different types of components that they have, different that they can do any Pantone, they can do custom shapes, and they can print onto like meeples and whatnot, and different types of materials possible. And then they say they'll recommend it, and they say some components add a lot of bang for the buck, while other components are of premium quality. And so this section will highlight the relative cost for each component. That's pretty handy. That is pretty handy. So this is interesting because this is how some people don't know that is meeples are made by a big long stick of a meeple, and then they just cut. And so that's an interesting thing if you can make your figure such that it can lie flat like this, then they can just make it out of one long thing. If all of a sudden you need something like bulbous or something sticking out of it, then it's not going to be as cheap because they won't be able to make it like this. Interesting. But this, for example, is fine. They can make that in one long stick and just cut because it's flat. Neat. Then they have these budget tips, really cool ideas, and then of course showing off all sorts of different examples of things that they can do, and in acrylic as well, and then going through dice. But this is the best thing, just showing all these budget tips and things, how you can save money. Really great idea. How they can do plastic poker chips. This is just available online. All these books online. You don't have to partner with them right away. You just can go download this yourself right now. Just go to pandagm.com and go into their download section and their tools. Cool. So this is Panda. The last one I want to show you through is Longpack. Now I haven't dealt with them yet, and it's just I know that they're another popular choice, and they have a brochure and an artwork guideline, and also some game board cutting options. I think that's kind of neat. Which one's that one? The game board cutting options. Yeah, game board cutting options. It just shows you how if you cut on this side with the art, then or if you want the artwork not visible, so you cut on the other side. If you want to connect it by paper on top and bottom, just kind of neat options. But then here's their version of what can be done. It's just very simple and laid out. This one's kind of cool stats here, but we control moisture within 12% of board games. It's cool. Very good. All the different types of boxes that they can do, the punch boards, different types of playing cards, nice samples. That's what these are all about, showing samples, trying to get you ideas. Can you do this? And to try to stimulate your imagination, and showing all the different partners that they've printed games for. That's pretty huge. That's a good idea, and I've seen the other ones do that as well, where they show them like, oh, okay, well, if Simon is using them, I guess they're good, that kind of a thing. So that's pretty cool. And the last thing they have, this is going to be more for later, but this is the artwork guideline. So again, they have the same kind of thing about how to send data and what do we need for artwork and how much bleed do we need. We're going to get into this way later when we're at this stage, but this is going to be super handy to know this. That's really cool. This is really cool information. So this has helped me a lot when I'm trying to figure out what I want to have for my retail version versus my deluxe version. We had a whole kind of a category on that. I've extrapolated this a lot since that one YouTube, because my one manufacturer said that they didn't want all the cards listed individually. They just tell us how many cards are in it, and then we have these secret envelopes in the game. That's part of our game. So how many are the secret envelopes and what's the total? So I'm doing that for the retail and then also for the deluxe, and then what's the difference. And so, for example, it has a screen, and there's the size of the screen, and I'm going to use it for the retail version. It'll be nice, kind of a thin board. It's just a nice, like a screen, a normal screen. And it's got two folded, print on both sides. But then I think for the deluxe, I'm going to make it a thicker board like Mysterium, and I'm going to ask, I don't even know if we can do this, can we add 3 see-through pockets to the inside bottom center of each screen, like Mysterium? So you can actually insert the recruitment cards into the screen, and they just sit there, and you'll always see them. So that I think will be super cool and a nice add for the deluxe version. And yeah, and then I've already kind of listed out stretch goals. So I'm sending this to the manufacturers, and it's just got tons of questions because I don't have all the information yet. I'm like, increase thickness, but I don't know to what. I don't know what for a board, what's one thickness versus another one. It doesn't go into details on thickness on any of these sites that I've noticed. So I'm going to ask them like, okay, give me a good thickness for the base, and then the upgraded one, give me a better. It's basically good or better. I don't want anything less than good. I don't want a cheap kind of board, that's for sure, even if we don't hit these stretch goals. I don't know where these stretch goals are going to fly yet. I'm not sure which one's first, which one's second, all that. This is all the making things look better stretch goals. We also have some content-based stretch goals that we'll get into later in another episode, but I might pair some of these with some content-based stretch goals. I'm not sure. And I don't know anything about stretch goals yet. But I think you have to do all of this information before you decide like how much does something cost, and can it be covered with a stretch goal? Like, if you have 100, 200, 300 more people buying your game, that reduces your per unit copy when you print it by a few cents. I'm like, okay, so now I have a few cents. Why not give that back to the gamer? And what is a few cents? I mean, if increasing thickness is only 3 cents per copy, then maybe that's a great stretch goal for that, that kind of threshold. But if this costs 8 cents per copy to increase the thickness, then I got to figure out where that goes. So we need all that information beforehand. So I'm going to send that out to manufacturers, ask for some quotes. Basically, I'm going to start at 1,000. I know 1,500 is usually their minimum print run, but I'm going to ask for 1,000 to see, and then 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Manufacturers usually hate it when there's so many different numbers. They just give me like 3 numbers, so we'll see what they say. That's my ask, and maybe they can do it, or maybe that's annoying, and we'll see what they say. Maybe they'll say, no, just give us 3 numbers, like 1,500, 3,000, 5,000. We'll do something like that. But it feels like I really would like to know some more steps in there. We'll see what they say, and I'll let you know. That's it for me. That's what I've been doing this week. Next week I'm going to get into details about making prototypes, especially for conventions, and how to make sure they're pretty enough, and sending them out also to some ambassadors that have also signed up for the program. If you're interested in the ambassador program, definitely drop me a line. If you're going to be at a convention in the next year that you'd like to be an ambassador for Off the Page Games and demo mind management to the public, I'd love to talk to you. So drop me a line. That's it for me. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.